Welcome, everybody, to another 800 Pain podcast with Amy Fleming and
Rayko B.
Thank you for being here with us today. We have a very important message that Rayko would love to spread with our audiences, and, well, just let's stay tuned. So, Rayko, what is it exactly that you want to mention to our audiences and spread the message and word about?
Well, I think my message is very central across all platforms, across any means, be it through music, be it through any kind of writing or anything that is expressive. And it's pretty much been the process. You know, I feel that my personal hero's journey stems from being in an accident. My personal hero's journey stems from the pain that came from it, the growth that came from the pain. You know, pain is very central, and it's something that I honor very much. And it's bringing a little bit of consciousness into the extensive work. You know, the work doesn't end with the physical. It really continues with the mental.
I love that. And so stay tuned, guys. We're going to get into a deep dive here in just a couple of seconds. So we're going to get into the life before the accident and Rayko. So who were you before the accident and what did life look like back then?
I think before the accident, I might have been in search of what came after the accident. So, I mean, I've always listened to rock music, for example, and I was already listening to emo music before, or watching anime before the accident happened. So I was like longing for this hero's journey or longing for some kind of justified pain. And so I feel that before the accident, I was still not a warrior, or didn't integrate these warrior aspects into my being, or although my life was never easy, you know, and it was challenging from the get-go, from Cuba, and so I had already started with trauma bound. But before the accident, I was still naive to the full scope of overcoming or of discovering my potential and my strengths.
We're going to do a deep dive now of the day of the accident. So what do you remember about the day of the accident?
Well, the day of the accident was a powerful day. It was raining the entire day. That was first and foremost. I remember I was living right on 30th and 64th, so I went to Miami twice, and I remember buying a silver belt buckle, and loving it. I remember wanting to go out to the movie theaters and my family having like a lot of resistance. They were like, no, please, it's been raining all day, etc. I'm like, I'm 17, I'm trying to live my life. So I went out and I lived my life, and I found out what came with it. You know, I completely ignored the warnings. But, you know, there's some aspects of the causality of the whole situation that through time has allowed me to connect based on my beliefs or the traditions that I come from, which includes the Afro-Cuban Yoruba tradition, and even like the silver belt that I bought being tied to a batala. There's even like the 3 scars on my face, you know, being tied to Chango, or me being inside of a vehicle being tied to Ogun. Me being 17 years old and not being able to walk the entire day, 17, tied to Babaluaye. So like the perspective with the accident and the information that I decided to put on, like my perspective of it is like both here on this earth and in the astros.
Yeah. So the day of the accident, it was raining. Your family told you don't go out. So there was already like this internal feeling that something was going to happen. A lot of us, when we're younger, we do want to live our lives and we want to enjoy every day and live every second. But sometimes it's very important there's this underlying feeling that not only do our family members get, but when we wake up that day, I don't know if you felt something was off, but you still wanted to kick through it and just keep going. I don't know if that was something that maybe you felt that day, but if you ever get that feeling, you should listen to it. It's something very important, and it might not be coming from, let's say, just your mom or dad, but it might be. I mean, depending on your spirituality, but it's something very important to listen to. But about that day, at what point did you realize this was going to change your life?
Man, there's like a cutoff with my brain, right? Like there's and our brain protects us. So like there's a cutoff with information because it was so traumatic to my brain that my brain had to remove and get rid of information. So sometimes I can have like a replay of the sensation of holding on to the seat in front of me and like watching the car, like the feeling of we're gonna hit something, and I could tap into that sometimes. Like it might catch me by surprise. But as far as being able to recollect, like know that my day was going to take that direction, I couldn't have premeditated that. Also partially because I was just starting to work things out with my ex-girlfriend who was in the accident with me, you know? And so my mind was like, oh my God, you know, like I've waited so long for this. Oh my God, she's forgiving me, or, you know, I wasn't focused on the dangers at hand. I wasn't focused on my friend, you know, God bless his soul, with irresponsible driving. I didn't premeditate so many things that if I were paying attention, if I put myself first, I could have completely protected myself from that situation.
And like you said, God bless your friend, but what is exactly that caused that car accident to happen?
Well, he was a friend. Like we were 17, so you know what it was to be 17. You had some friends that drove, some that didn't. I just got my restricted, I just got my license, etc. So like, you know, we would huddle up together and be like, who's taking us to the party? Yeah. And this friend in particular, he had like a 94, 95 Camaro. Camaros are made of fiberglass. He used to love pulling out, like, you know, this was his thing.
Yeah, the like screeching of the tires and the feeling and
yeah. I remember being in his car for the first time and like he hit like just, and I'm like, whoa, what am I doing here? You know, but I normalized it. I allowed that to become normal. It became a thrill.
No, we think it's cool, and it's adrenaline, and we love it as kids. We're young adults, but So, and a Camaro. I mean, what color was it?
It was like reddish, burgundy.
Yeah, you people have fun with those.
You were like, yeah.
And 17, so imagine, you guys must have felt really cool and you guys had it all at the moment.
Yeah, and it got us a lot of attention too. You know, we were like the cool guys. We would go surfing at the beach. We would like be at the parties. We were like, I was the one that played in a band in the group. So it was, you know, we were cool.
You're
we were
living
just, like,
life.
Living life. We're like, where's the party at? You know, so.
So that day, was he pulling out of somewhere? Did he go into oncoming traffic? What did that look like, if you remember? That day we had actually gone to see Batman Begins. And this was like huge symbolism for me. It was like Batman Begins. And which actually, like, also too, as I did my research in the spiritual studies, the bat dance is a resurrection dance that Native Americans would do. It was like this thing where they would dance like a bat and they would be able to resurrect people. So there was a lot of connections, and this opened up a lot of connections and being able to see these things. But we did go see Batman Begins, and you know, Batman and his Batmobile. There's like a scene in the movie where Batman turns off the headlights to his Batmobile and it disappears and goes silent. So it's been driving all day. We're like on Kendall Drive, 113th. He turns off the headlights to the car and speeds up. Now, he'd done so much pulling out that you're screeching and it had just rained for the first time. It was the start of summer. It was June 20th. So it was like the first time that it rained in a long time. The oil is at the top of the water. Yeah. And he speeds up and we're hydroplaning. And he doesn't know. He makes a turn. The Camaro's motor is in the back of the vehicle. Okay. So there's no protection. There's no protection. We spun around maybe for like a whole block. And fortunately, our friends were in another car. Unfortunately for them, they had to witness the whole thing. I can't imagine what it is that they saw with their eyes. Like, both the bones ripped out of my arm. You know, my jaw was ripped out of my face. And I'm like in the back, discombobulated. But they knew I was alive. I can't imagine what my friend looked like that they knew he was dead. You know what I mean? I'm assuming you hit a tree or something.
Yes, we hit a tree, we hit a utility pole, we hit a wire.
Oh my God.
It was.
So he was going probably like 50, 70.
Yeah, we probably reached like 50. But even just like, even going from 40 to 50, it causes the hydroplaning. The shift in speed.
It was a manual vehicle, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was manual. So that was actually like the easiest part. And that's part of what I wanna emphasize, is that the physical work, no matter how tedious it was the easy part. And it's the one that is like the shortest period of time of work. But like the mental, the like what came with the traumatic brain injury, what came with the PTSD, what came with like, even after I had already could walk, even after I could, now I have to normalize myself. Now I have to like control my explosive personality, you know, in a world of people that aren't educated on this. You know, it's like being a military and going out and killing people.
Yeah.
You know, or like, or being military and discovering that you're like, wow, I'm killing people. Like, what brainwash did I receive? And then coming back home and integrating yourself with a society that only has a.
They don't see that.
They don't see
that. They
that.
see it in movies and they think, oh, well, it ends there. But that's a reality for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And in yours, I mean, were you I'm not assuming you're not conscious during the time of the accident. Like when you got, I'm assuming ambulance comes, do you remember any of that?
There's a like this one of my friends told me that when he came in to the vehicle and he was calling my name, that I regained consciousness, and then like I looked around and I saw
Jesus.
and just convulsion, like just had a seizure at that. Again, man, graphic. I remember the first dream that I had after being in a coma. I remember trying to wake up from a coma. I remember
within the coma.
Within the coma.
Wow. So astral projection, kind of, or what would you call that?
There was a little bit of that.
Okay.
So it was a little bit of astral projection, but more than anything, it was emptiness. And so it was emptiness and unification with God. And the thing that kept me here was like, I can't have my mom bury me. So it was like my will to be on this earth. I had to fight that. I had to spend like 14, 15 days in the darkness, like just holding on to a little thread of consciousness and being like, I'm going to follow this consciousness for as far as I can and try to bring myself back. Wow. I almost woke up 2 times from the coma, but there were people in the room. The first time I woke up, my PE coach was standing in front of me. She's like, hey, Rayko.
Aww.
You know, she was so sweet. She's like, hey, Rayko. And then I'm like, I gotta go. And I went back into the coma. The second time I was like, my friend Matt was there and he's like, hey, buddy. And he was praying for me. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And I went back. And then the third time that I woke up, the room was empty. And it must have been like 2 a.m. And I was like, oh. Because it's a lot of energy. Yeah. Like we're exchanging energy, you know. And if it's like I'm waking up from a coma and there's people, it's like he's waking up. I'm like, oh no, I gotta go back. Oh. I gotta go. Let me go back to the emptiness.
Because it was a lot.
It was a lot of information, and so when I actually woke up from the coma, it was like, okay, I'm here, and I'm like tied up. I've got IVs. I've got like a tube inside of my throat that's going like. There's tubes everywhere, and I'm like, I need to get this off. So that was the mission. I'm like, pulling like all these tubes and disconnecting myself from the machine. I knew I had to use the restroom. I didn't know I was a human yet. I didn't know I was a human yet. I was like, wow, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I tried sitting up, and since I'd been laying down for 14, 15 days after being thrown viciously across a vehicle, I went like this to get up, and I could feel like every single vertebrae it was like a pain like inside. Don't move. Oh God, it just went like an electricity, like shh. So I had to go little by little. I started with my head like this, and then like projecting. I don't know. Did you have a neck
brace on?
I had, I was like fully. I had to take that brace off. I had to just like strip myself from everything, and finally I got myself up on the bed, and I'm sitting up. I'm like, I made it. I'm like sweating, and then I put my feet on the floor and I project forward, to walk to the bathroom, my legs don't work. It's like straight to the floor, piss all over myself. I'm so sorry for the language.
No,
I'm
it's
just
okay.
like, and I'm laying there grateful that at least it's still warm, and I'm just waiting for someone to come in. My mouth is wired shut. I'm like, okay, this is life. It's like I'm born again, and I'm like, this is life. The greatest irony, and I hadn't even seen my face yet. I hadn't even seen what my face looked like, how destroyed my face was. So,
Well, the doctors did a great job at keeping you symmetrical and human looking, because from what you're describing, you said discombobulated. So yeah, good on the doctors.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, they did great.
And it's really important. That's a really important detail that I wanna plug in. It's like the team that we're sent to after an accident is so vital, because it's such a vulnerable time where the smallest
Guys,
little detail.
listen to this. This is very important.
This is huge. Like the smallest little detail can have the biggest effect on the long term. And this comes down to even like the psychologists, even like the psychologist that Isabel changed my life. Isabel's the reason that I was able to turn all of this pain into art. Isabel's the reason why my ambitions are so big, and the reason why I had this bigger, broader vision is because of this human being that was brought into my life. Because if I didn't have that positive reinforcement, I would be a criminal right now. Justified. I would be the darkest human being on this planet, capable of so many dark things, and I would be justified. I'm like, the world has hurt me, I'm gonna hurt the world. But no, you just gotta like process and choose to be a good person. And it's like the people around us, that are helping us in a vulnerable time, be it physical, be it psychological, which are both vital, is essential for our well-being as human beings.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
No, a lot of people don't speak about the mental health portion after, you're recovered physically, and I'm sure that took months to, your nervous system's not connected to your legs at that moment, you're disconnected internally. But like once he figured out that physical portion, a lot of people leave out the mental part. And not only, and again, sorry, but his friends passed away. You had to battle through that, and then all the connections you made to that day of the accident. There's a lot of darkness that comes with that. So thank you, Isabel, wherever you are. But it's something that you shouldn't leave behind, is your mental health. And if you see yourself struggling even after physical recovery, seek that attention. You're not going crazy. You suffered a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
And that's something that's our main topic today. That's something that you should not leave behind. A lot of people, and their brains trick themselves. They think that they are in control and this is their reality and it's normal, but it's not. You were different before the accident, and sure you emo, but that's not. Sometimes it's not a phase, Mom. But like we used to say, but it's not the crazy loops that your brain throws you into, especially when how bad was your frontal lobe damage? Because I remember you mentioning that to me aside.
There's something that I've noticed is consistent with people that suffer from traumatic brain injuries, including myself, and it's we become too much after the traumatic brain injury. So if you know somebody who's had an accident and they've suffered from a traumatic brain injury, and then you see them post the accident, you're gonna see a human being with a lot of energy. Sometimes it's too much. Like I can be too much for people, because it's just like la 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 excitement, and I'm like going 100%, and people are like, yo, like help me protect my own nervous system, So it's very difficult for someone with a traumatic brain injury, to balance themselves at the level of the people, or read the room, And then there's a lot of like paranoia and self-consciousness that comes after it. So we like have explosive personalities, and then we retreat, and we're like, I did too much. I said too much. I did too much. Like that ultimately is part of what makes, the challenge with dealing with a traumatic brain injury. It's like reintegrating with society, with the people around us in a way that is like easier for people to be able to integrate with.
Okay. And then I had another question based off that. What's one thing that people misunderstand the most about TBI, in your opinion? Besides your energetic outburst or you're nervous, I'm assuming at 5 a.m. you're turned on and you're ready to go. And
Yeah.
But what else are secret or hidden messages that your brain sends throughout the day that you might not realize is part of the TBI?
Well, imagine that my brain went like this. So someone goes through a TBI, their brain goes to like danger, right? Like the scope of danger has already been maxed out.
Okay.
So if I confront something, it's my responsibility to make sure that my thoughts, my thinking, that's why I love Buddhism, thought, speech, what I'm eating, all of it. Like our brain, our stomach is our first brain. And so something that's misunderstood is like my potential for feeling in danger.
Okay.
And like and measuring like how big the danger is, because like I said, I maxed out, and I already experienced death, and which is good. I'm glad I experienced death because I'm like, it's not that bad. Like, like everything, living was difficult. Coming back is difficult. Recovering was difficult. That was the hard part. The dying part, that was easy. I'm gonna be honest, like 100%. So something that is misinterpreted is how much I'm actually trying to be calm. How much I'm actually working on. How much effort I have to put in to say, today's gonna be a good day. Today I'm gonna be nice to the people around me. It's like I have to premeditate all of that because my brain could have a completely different plan. And the moment someone like challenges that for whatever reason, every human has their own story, then I'm war ready.
Yeah.
And people don't like, once they see me blowing up, once they see me yelling, once they see me exploding, they're like, whoa, where did all of this come from? I'm like,
You pushed the right button.
yeah.
Well, the wrong button, but the button that now exists within you.
Yes, exactly. And like, part of what I've needed to do in order to be able to control that is discover violence. So I needed to train jujitsu. Training jujitsu was like the best thing I ever did in my life because it made me vulnerable with the people around me. It taught me the techniques to be able to defend myself and build my confidence and not choose violence. Like, people who train in violence don't choose violence because they know the potential to hurt another human being.
We're gonna speak about recovery because we've touched a lot of bases already, and honestly, your story's insane. A lot of individuals don't even get to tell this story after their accident when it's that grave. But the fact that you've had the resilience and the ability to control your mind, even though it took time, but it's something very difficult, and a lot of people can't even do that portion after the accident. Sure, their recovery is fine. They might have maybe a missing finger, that we get over that, but mentally, that's a struggle that normal people, they suffered with. So you've overcome a lot, and that's something to be very, I can't find the right word. It's overwhelmingly amazing, your story.
Thank you.
There's no word for everything that you've gone through. It's just beautiful that you're at this point right now. So I want to talk about recovery and what that looked like for you besides the emotional and physical portion. Let's say 10 years go by. Where are you at right now and your point in recovery? Because I'm sure it's still going. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a really interesting question about like the point of recovery.
Like today.
Today I'm at 305, 100 pain. Like this is, once we had our first meeting, and it dawned on me. I was like in the meeting and I had forgotten I was in a car accident.
Really?
And then
Truly?
truly, honestly, I had forgotten I was in a car accident, and I'm here like trying to be like, I'm valuable because this, or like literally having this meeting, and I'm like, wait,
You
hold
went
on.
through something.
This is central to my story. And so just being here, being able to share the experience that I have, I even have a difficulty saying my story. And that's part of that's where I'm at in this in this journey is I'm letting go of my story. And what I mean by that is that
Like a chapter.
yeah, like this moment is I'm working to let go of the value of the story. So imagine a monk from Vajrayana and he's making a sand mandala and it's like perfect and intricate. That's been all the work I've done. That's been all the insecurities I felt. Like I was 17 years old and like you could still see the inside under my skin for a period of time. And I used to sit like this. I used to cover this, you know, like that was a chapter of insecurity. I used to look at my face and I wanted to grow a beard because it was like, I had to see myself as a beast. That was a chapter, you know, like where I'm like, I'm ugly. And I genuinely believed that, you know, like there was like a period of time I'm like looking in the mirror and I'm like, I'm a beast, you know? And like, I'm super grateful for all the beautiful women that have stepped into my life and have allowed me to experience being in a relationship with them because they took part in allowing me to reevaluate myself and like my internal beauty and like who I am as a human being. But this chapter is about taking off my armor. You know, this chapter is about taking off my armor and being vulnerable and telling a different story. This is the chapter where it's like the story of victory. That's where we're at right now. We're at the victory phase of recovery.
Awesome. And great for you. I'm trying to hold back my tears, guys, because I saw you tearing up.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful that there's other individuals that were in your life. Other people don't have that opportunity to have others give them that impact and security that you're not a monster. I mean, you're even if, let's say, you like these horrible burn victims that, you know, suffer real, like, I mean, complete changes. You're still a human being under all that, and you're still beautiful. So it's thank you to all those people that were in his life that were able to support him through that as well. And I want you to, I don't know if you have a message for others, but if someone's listening and had experienced this TBI similar, you know, to a serious accident, what would you want them to know?
I'd want them to know that I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
I'd want them to know that they should be on this side sharing their story. I want them to know that it's really important that we bring awareness to this, you know? Like in some ways, genuinely in my heart, I feel that some portions of mental health have turned into a joke. And I think that that's part of, you know, I'm not gonna get too into, what is this called? I forgot the term right now. And that's part of the TBI. When you catch me being like, I forgot this word, that's a traumatic brain injury. It's like the moments in which I'm speaking and now I have to pause for 5 seconds to find a word. At least it's 5 seconds. There was a point in time in which it was 10 minutes. There was a point in time in which I was never gonna find the word until like a week later. So the message is we need to come out, we need to share this, we need to let the people around us know. And a TBI can happen to anyone playing football. A TBI can happen to anyone practicing MMA. Like when I had to choose which martial art I was gonna take, I wanted to do this one with the kicking, Muay Thai. I'm like, Muay Thai is fire.
It is, but a lot of head injuries.
Head injuries, huge head injuries. So I was like, let me go with jiu-jitsu instead, which I'm glad I did. And jiu-jitsu has been such a beautiful journey. But there's not enough information or there's not enough knowing of the potential of a TBI. And, you know, sometimes people get violent on the street and they're completely illogical and they think they can handle what they're going to see with the way that they respond. But you hurt somebody's brain, they're gonna have a convulsion in front of you, and that's not gonna be a pretty sight. That's something that's traumatizing, you know? So we need to bring awareness with the TBI. That's my message for anybody. We need you.
And what about family members that have either a son or a daughter, uncle, I mean, whatever it is in their family? What would you tell them to families that don't understand TBI?
I believe that family of someone who's suffering TBI needs the most care, because they're the ones that are going to witness the response. They're the ones that are going to experience the effects of the TBI like nonstop. I've seen family members that just want to give up. It's never ending. It's like years and years and years of dealing with this family member that has suffered a TBI. And if there's something that I want for them to know, there's something I want for my sister to know, or my parents to know, or even I have a friend named Christina, and when I was 17, when I was in the hospital, she showed up. She was sitting next to me every single day. And
shout out to you, Christina.
Yeah, shout out, Christina. We need you. That's my message to. I know it's difficult. I know that the person that you're dealing with might not have the means of expressing that they're grateful, and don't wait for that. Like, I would say that hold on to the fact that you're a human being, and build off of that. Be self-reliant on that. Be self-reliant on your ability to serve, and give it one more day, constantly, just one day at a time, because it's overwhelming.
And then the most important question, what would you tell your younger self if he was here today?
That's like that question is dealing with the internal child. That therapy work is the most important one for me. It's actually one of my favorite songs is by an artist named NF, and he has a song called Nate. And I wish I had the lyrics right now, but he's basically talking to a young version of himself, And I actually sent a message today to someone I really care about, and she's having a difficult moment, and I spoke about that specifically. Get a picture of yourself as a child. Like, don't forget this inner child. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we're all out here being adults, and we're all out here trying to survive, and we're all here like we're children in our hearts. Like, we are children.
It's still in here. We're still in there.
We're capable of being hurt like a child. We're capable of believing in love, because like love is so big. Love is so big that you can't even understand it. What are we trying to understand? The chemical reaction that our body has, our physiological response to a concept of love. Love is huge, So I would say work with the inner child always. And what I say to mine is, dude, you're a warrior. You're a warrior. Let's go. Put your boots on.
Strap them up and let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
thank you.
Guys, there's no easy way of closing this, because it impacted your life, and it's not a chapter to completely close, because you're still going. And I mean, we reopened it by inviting, you found us, but I'm happy that you're able to share your experience with others, and I hope this helps you at home, wherever you may be. TBI is something to not take lightly. Accidents are not something to take lightly. You can have a TBI with just a 5-mile-an-hour accident, or something where your friend is having a lot of fun with his car and something horrible might happen because, you don't understand the laws of gravity yet. I had something similar. Not similar at all, but I totaled a car because I hydroplaned. Kids, it's real. Don't speed out there. It's not fun. A lot of good things don't come from that, and you may think you're enjoying life, but it might end someone else's. So let's be careful out there. Let's ensure that we think about our family members and ourselves and everybody that we put in our vehicles and the others, people on the sidewalk. It's everybody. And Rayko, I thank you so much for sharing your experience. It's something that it's difficult, but you're here, and I don't know you that well, but I'm proud of you. And I'm sure everybody out there is as well. Shout out to Christina, Isabella, and who else that helped you out throughout the way?
Marta, my mom, my sister Raisa, my father Rafael. I wanna emphasize this as a man that the most important thing is moving with your heart. You know, like my dad, for example, was a political prisoner from Cuba. You know, so like, and the thing about like a political prisoner from Cuba specifically is that they went through what they went through, but their story's not being told. You know, I'm out here talking about my crash with 305, 800 pain, and my story is being told. My dad's never been in front of a camera to share his story or what he had to go through being kidnapped or whatever it may be. But despite that, he moves with his heart, you know? And so
Shout out, Dad.
shout out to my dad. That's number one for me.
Beautiful. Well, Rayko, thank
you.
you so very much. It was
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. Thank you, everybody. And we'll see you on the next 800 Pain podcast. Take care.